Welcome back to our series on analyzing English texts. Today's session outlines the 4 basic steps in the process. In general, we suggest you firstly collect reasonable expectations the audience should have about this text. Secondly, get a first overall impression of what's going on in the text. Thirdly, determine what the most important devices used here are. And finally, arrange the ideas for your essay to then write it. Before you even start browsing the text, consider the elements that give away what an average reader can expect of this text. Closely examine the source and any notes on the source. In which kind of publication was the text published? Was it a quality newspaper, a tabloid, some obscure blog, an established magazine? In which section or under which label was it published? The source, scour the link, and the notes could describe it as an opinion piece, an article, a short story. The type of text and the publication's reputation indicate the level of language, the overall tone, and the level of detail you should expect of this text. Now, carefully read the heading, the subheading, and any notes on the context which you may find in the task or annotations. Usually, this should be enough to give a good impression of the topic discussed in the text and the author's position. Also, the subheading probably outlines the argumentation. Taken together, both allow you to further assess the tone of this text. Briefly reflect on the publication's year. Do you remember anything of importance that happened back then, especially regarding the topic of the text? Careful, you really should jot down some keywords on what you have found out in this step so that you can compare what the text does to what it should do. At worst, you will find that the text conforms to all the norms and expectations an audience has for this kind of text, but that would be an important point for your analysis too. At best, this step helps you spot a major deviation from the norms. That would be a pot of gold for your analysis. Now it's time to browse the text. We recommend you use this step to get a grip of the structure of the argumentation. In the margins, take notes on the main content of each paragraph. Sketch a concept map of the argumentation so you can quickly grasp how the author arranges the information. This also is a time to highlight any device that immediately strikes you. It may be a phrase with a special wow factor, an especially powerful image, a succinct sentence that carries the message, or a repetition of ideas or phrases. Using a low-key color would be best here. You don't want to be drawn back to only these points, but you will want to keep an open mind in case you find even better devices in the next step. Take a few minutes to reflect on what you've just found out. Do these points match the expectations? Is there anything odd about this text, or is it business as usual? Again, take notes on your thoughts. The next step should consume most of your reading time. Carefully go through the most promising parts of the text, that is, the ones that you have earmarked in step 2. Like a gold digger trying to find a nugget, closely look at each and every word and phrase. Understand its direct meaning and the connotations. Reflect on the alternatives the author could have used. Assess the impact of this choice of words and devices on the audience. Does the author try to nudge the readers into a certain direction? Usually by using words that have a clear connotation or that carry some emotional tones. On the content level, omissions or distortions may do the same trick. Is he or she fair? That is, are alternative conclusions or crucial contradictory facts mentioned? Is imagery used to entertain, to obfuscate, or to educate? What about humor? Funny, denigrating, or relieving? Now, do not overwhelm your audience. It is your responsibility to now reflect on the devices you deem relevant and to wisely choose the ones that are really important. If the text in some way violates your initial expectations, pick the ones that best make this point. If the text largely conforms with the norms, pick the devices that are essential to this type of text. Finally, take all the arguments and arrange them. Remember that each argument, that is, each stylistic device, lives in a paragraph of its own. Shift the paragraphs around so that you can A. tell a convincing story about the text and B. easily transition into your conclusions. You should now have a firm grip on the general process. Thank you for watching, and let's delve into some detail in the next video.